Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grid Engine Podcast. This is the first episode that we are ever doing, but we hope it will be a continuing thing, right?
Yeah.
So, greetings and salutations, you guys. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to be discussing basically just the political climate of America. I think that would be a great way to start this off. No, actually, we're gonna use this podcast as a platform to talk a lot about things that me and Noah have in common and the hobbies we enjoy, because it's a lot more than just cars. We've known each other since 2008, I think.
Roughly, somewhere around there.
2008, and there's been a lot of time that we've spent together just vibing. So I think we're gonna go ahead and do our thing and just chill. So, all right, Noah, what we tell them about today?
So we're basically going to be talking about how Simon and I met and just how our relationship grew and just our history together and just the dumb shit we've done and all the stuff that brought us here.
Kind of sick, right? So we're going to start off. We met in like 2008, 2009.
Roughly around there, yeah.
I think the best way to gauge the time frame that we met in is to figure out when that chain gun that the original Nerf line released, because that's what your dad brought to my birthday party.
Right, yeah, the Nerf War birthday party in that school's gymnasium.
Do you remember? Here, I'm honestly curious now. I want to know.
Because was that the first year we met that I got invited to that party?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember before we went to that party, obviously I had Nerf guns. Me and my brothers had Nerf guns. We loved shooting each other in the backyard with them. But my dad wanted like a trump card that's like something to stand out, because my dad takes these things way too seriously and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And he just like packs us in the car, drives to the store, and he's like, I want the biggest, the best Nerf gun they got. And he saw the like turret.
It was called the Vulcan.
The Vulcan,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, with the chain and I don't know what do you call that thing on the side that holds the chain? Because it's not a magazine. It's a pouch or whatever.
I think pouch.
But
it's bag.
Either way, it looked like a 240, a 240 machine gun.
Yeah.
And he's just like, instantly is just like, that's the one I want. And,
right.
And I remember it was so cool because I had never seen anything like that at the time. I only ever had the small Nerf guns,
right.
The little pump action ones. Mm-hmm. So it was the coolest, and it took like 6 like D batteries.
Yeah.
So that thing was heavy because I was really young. So I was lugging this thing around. Anytime my dad set it down, I would like run for it and pick it up. Just be like,
super heavy. Yeah. Yeah. A pain to reload though.
Oh,
those things
it was
were
awful.
Not great. Yeah. So I looked it up. The Vulcan release date was 2008. So I think we are correct about 2008 or 2009. So with that being said, I think it would be very entertaining to be like, start from... We met a little bit before that at another, like a mutual friend's birthday party, right? You lived down the street. I had known the kid for a long time. And we go, and I'm just like, man, this Noah guy is kind of cool. He's kind of cooler than the guy I came here to celebrate. And then eventually I invited you to my birthday party, but not him.
Yeah.
Which was a point of contention for a while between me and him, until inevitably I was like, man, fuck off. And I just moved on. But I was like, okay, sick. This is kind of dope. Let's just move on and be adults.
Yeah.
And so we moved on, and it's like, you came to that. That was fun. And then I don't remember the next time we hung out after that.
Do you remember what his birthday party, what we did for his birthday party when we all got together?
It was a potato launcher, right? That was like the main thing.
His dad built a PVC CO2 like cannon, and for the first like 2 or 3 hours, literally all we were doing were riding our Razor scooters down this. He would put a tennis ball in the cannon and shoot it, and all of us would ride down the street on our scooters and go after it like fucking dogs.
I do remember that now. And I think one kid, I don't remember who it was, some kid neither of us knew, couldn't afford a scooter, I guess. So his bitch ass was just hauling down the street.
Yeah, some kid just joined us.
That was so funny.
And then after doing that for like 3 hours, we were like, oh, let's go launch potatoes. And we're like, okay, sure. Yeah. And we go drive out to the middle of nowhere.
Did we leave?
Yes, we left and we went into the middle of nowhere, because I remember seeing like empty dip cans, shotgun shells, and just all
That
over
sounds
the
like a
ground
good
and stuff
party.
like that. Oh yeah.
But we were there for potatoes.
Yeah. And then he was just we didn't even get to shoot it. We just got to sit there and watch his dad shoot the potatoes at the hill and then hit the ground and burst. And we were just like, this is sick. We were
This is
kids, so we
pretty
thought it was
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
But I look back at it now and I'm just like, that was dumb.
Yeah, I would have been a lot more upset if I was 1 or 2 years older. I would have been a lot more upset that we didn't get to shoot the damn potatoes.
Yeah.
Like,
But for how old I was at the time, it was just like,
yeah, it was
watching
pretty,
him just fly in the air and then burst on the ground. It was cool
it was
for the
pretty
time.
sweet. So that was how we met.
Mm-hmm.
But
The first time
it
we
is a Grid
hung-
Engine podcast. Burps and farts will be prevalent. When did we hang out next?
The first time we hung out was you were visiting a relative, I'm not sure who it was, who lived close to him.
Oh, that was my aunt.
You were you were
Yeah.
visiting your aunt who lived not too far from him, and you just walked over his house to see if he was home, and I walked over his house to see if he was home to hang out, and he wasn't. And we just ended up
really?
hanging out together in his yard.
Didn't we go in his backyard?
Yeah, we just went in his backyard and we just started hanging out and jumping on his trampoline and just vibing.
That's
and he wasn't
right.
even home.
I remember that. That was really funny because when his parents inevitably pulled up, I think we were still there and we were we had just kind of assumed it was okay to go in the backyard because we'd both been over so many times. But when
Yeah.
they pulled up, they were kind of like, who the fuck's in our backyard? And we were just like, hi.
Hey, what's up, man?
And then
I'm just vibing.
I think as soon as he showed up, we actually left.
Yeah, we got sent home because his parents were like, okay, leave.
Bye.
This is not your home. Why are you in our backyard? Fucking get out of here. So we were just like, okay, bye, Simon.
That was so good. And that was a very telling moment in our friendship about how the rest of it was going to go throughout our teenage years. Just a considerable amount of rule breaking just because we could. Even though I don't think going into his backyard had malice intent.
No, it didn't.
was
There
just
was no...
he's got a trampoline. You want to go bounce? We're probably allowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had both been over there all the time. We were
I'm
both
pretty sure the
close friends with him.
conversation took place of well, we knocked, so at least we tried, and then we just went back there.
That sounds like logic I would use as a kid.
Yeah, seriously.
We tried, so
So it's okay. It's okay.
let's just go.
Yeah. So that was funny, but also dude, when was the first time I came to your house? And we
Lego
played-
trading.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Did I come to your house directly?
Yes.
Okay.
So growing up, Elisha, our mutual friend is actually the one who introduced me to trading Legos. I'd never traded them before. I've always just bought them for myself and
Same
built them.
here, yeah.
But I started trading with him, and he had ripped me off a few times knowingly,
Yeah.
and that was really frustrating. But whatever. It was Lego bricks. Who cares? But then I found out you did it too. And I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Maybe he won't rip me off. And he's got some cool stuff.
He had ripped me off a lot, but I was wary to it, so we would argue for about 2 hours, and then he would rip me off because I
Yeah.
got sick of it and I just wanted fucking Mace Windu, dude.
Yeah. That's what happened to me, except it was Ahsoka Tano. The minifigure of Ahsoka Tano. It was
Very good.
early, first season of the Star Wars: The Clone Wars or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
But, so I'm pretty sure I reached out to you and invited you over to my place and was like, hey, do you want to play with Lego blocks?
Yeah.
And trade Legos? And you came over and you brought over your bucket. I had all mine and we just went through them, and you had I don't even remember what the series was called, but it was the black alien ships with the glow in the dark green alien figures.
Right.
And you had brought a whole spaceship, a whole built spaceship.
That was called Mars Mission.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it was like a disc that folded out.
Yeah, that was my birthday present. I remember specifically going to Walmart as a kid, and my parents were like, "You can buy one $100 set," and I was like,
Ooh. Well, I got it from you.
"Did you?"
Yeah, because I was like,
No,
dude,
I think that was a smaller one.
Well, then it probably wasn't the $100 one because the one I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
disc that folded out.
Okay.
I
Mine
got-
was a whole ass Millennium Falcon
Oh,
sized
okay, no.
thing. I think it was also Mars Mission,
Yes.
but it was okay, here's this thing. It's smaller, but it's
Yeah,
cool.
because
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool. So I was like, oh, do I have anything you want?
Yeah.
And you organized it and stuff like that. And here's the actually interesting thing about that. After we had made the final decisions of what you wanted and what I wanted, we went to our parents and we're like, hey, I want to give him this. He wants to give me that.
Right.
Can we do this? And my dad actually looked at you and said, I think you're getting ripped off.
Oh, really?
I think you're kind of getting the short end of the stick here, but
Oh.
ultimately it's your set. So if you are okay with this, then you can do this.
Right.
And you were like, yeah, I want. I can't remember what you were getting from me, but there was something I had that you really wanted.
There was something. I don't remember that specifically, but I remember trading with Elisha,
For
your
his
younger
dragon?
brother, for a Ninjago, like first release Ninjago White Dragon. And I was like, I offered him, or I didn't even offer him anything, I don't think, because he offered me a whole dragon for like 2 minifigures.
Yeah, because
And I was like, I mean, that's a ripoff. I literally told him, I was like, that's a really good deal for me. Are you sure? And he was like, yeah, I hate this dragon. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah,
This is the one set I don't have. Like, give it
Elisha
to me.
did not like that drag. He got it, had it for like a month, and then lost interest.
That's so weird because I wanted that thing bad, and I saw he had it. I was like, oh, what do you want for that? Man, you got a couple minifigures? I was like, yeah, I got a lot of those.
See, that's the thing though. Elisha has always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't want something, he does not care about getting anything out of it.
Right.
Especially when we were kids, my younger brother was a super giving person. He would constantly just give Alex or I his toys. And like, because obviously we all shared our toys, but we had toys that belonged to specific people.
Right.
And Elisha would constantly give us his stuff and say, hey, this is yours now.
Yeah.
Just because he wanted to be nice. And if he didn't like something or didn't want it, he didn't want to keep it. He was like, this is just taking up space. I don't care if I get anything out of it. I'll give it to someone who wants
Wow.
it. And he's always been that way.
That's really nice.
No, I love that about him.
Yeah.
But that kind of explains why he did that.
Okay, that makes sense. So we hung out that time, and I think eventually it got to the point where you were like, dude, let's play Call of Duty, or it was World at War. Call of Duty World at War Zombies. You guys loved that.
Yeah. Because I was actually allowed to play shooter games.
I was raised very, very conservatively, and the most I had played was fucking Wii Bowling or something.
I was raised very sheltered and conservatively too, but the thing is my dad was or is technically a veteran, you know that. So my dad's kind of mentality on like violent video games and shooter games and stuff like that, he was like, military games and shooter games that are about like real war and stuff like that is okay because that stuff is real. You're a soldier fighting for a country and you're fighting an enemy and stuff like that. My dad wasn't okay with the games that were just blatant, like my dad, GTA, never allowed in my house.
Right.
And because of that, I was allowed to play those types of games. But then I had a lot of friends like you and our mutual friend who were never allowed to touch those just because they were violent.
Right. And so, yeah, I was like, well, this sucks. Probably can't play that. And also at the time, I was like, probably scared of it, to be completely honest, because I was so sheltered. I was like, zombies? Ugh. But then you busted out Halo. And I was like, does that say teen? And you were like, yeah, it's just teen. And I was like,
I don't think
the
Halo
first
was ever
Halo, I think?
I don't think so. The first Halo I ever played was Halo Reach, because my older brother got an
Oh.
Xbox 360, and that one I know is rated M. I don't think there's any Halo with a
we
T
played
rating.
Halo on your original Xbox when I came over. I remember that.
That's Halo 2.
Okay.
I had Halo 2 on my original Xbox. So the only Halo with a T rating is Halo 5, which is like,
What, actually?
yeah,
It's just a Destiny knockoff, right?
might as well be. But if Halo 2, actually, I'm curious if Halo 2 was rated T. Rating age, it was rated, it was suitable for age rating for Halo 2. No, it was rated M. So the first
okay.
shooter game you played with me was rated M.
I think I saw that and I was like, if my parents had to pick one of the two, they would probably prefer Aliens. And so we shot Aliens, and I was like, dude, this is nuts. And I was like, man, Noah's the coolest ever. He lets me play naughty games. And I think after that, we didn't hang out a whole lot. It was very sporadic because we couldn't drive, and my parents didn't really know your parents, so it was really only when I was like at my aunt's house or whatever.
Yeah.
And so basically we just until I turned 16, because I'm a little bit older than you, until I turned 16, we didn't hang out a ton. And at that point, you were living in a 2-story house with a pool, which was sick.
Yes.
I would come over and just swim.
My
I was
parents,
like, hell yeah.
my parents moved into that house when I turned 15, so that was roughly like right as you turned
Right.
16.
And that was when our first gaming YouTube video, Black
Yeah.
Ops 2 came out.
For the
We'll put a link for that in the description if you guys feel the need to watch that. It's classic, and we're very little men.
I got the whole like Bieber haircut, and I'm constantly like trying to get the hair out of my eyes. It's great.
And I have the same haircut I have now, basically. I had a comb over.
No, you had bushy hair on the sides.
Yeah, it was a little bushier. And then your younger brother, Elisha, is in there too.
Yes.
He doesn't like that video because he's very small. And it's funny.
So he has a high-pitched voice because he's really young.
And the jokes are dumb. And I was just learning to edit. So it was pretty...
Well, not
there
only
are
that,
parts of it that live on, though.
okay, there are. But also, if you remember, part of the reason that video is so funny to me and so special to me is because at that point... So... your timeline's a little messed up, I think, because that video had been after we'd started hanging out for a while.
Right.
Because we had that, like, split screen kill competition with me, Elisha, and Alex. And
was that
before.
first? Oh, and that was at my house.
Yes.
So I think Alex drove you guys to my
Yes.
house because your older brother could drive. So y'all came over to my parents' house, and
at this time, you were finally allowed to play shooters. You had a PlayStation 3, you had Battlefield 4, and
my parents
Black Ops
didn't
2.
know about Battlefield 4 and Black Ops 2. I had convinced my mom that because my other Christian friend had it, which was not you, this Christian friend she trusted,
Okay.
because he had played it at a youth group party, I could have it.
That makes sense.
Which is funny to me that a middle school youth group party had busted out Black Ops 2. I feel like that kind of falls on the...
Yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
like... Because I remember I never had this happen to me personally, but my older brother, he went to a youth group thing, and the only shooter they were allowed to play during that youth group thing was Halo because it was aliens.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Same logic applies, I suppose.
Yeah. That video where
want a snack?
it's... Yes, I want a snack. When it was you, Elisha, and I...
Very good grammar. I like that.
all playing Black Ops 2 in the same room. That video, we all were already cursing, but we didn't know that the other was. So we were all
That
still
was
trying to
funny.
be appropriate around each other.
But also, I didn't want my parents to see my first YouTube video after they had paid. They had paid for me to get Final Cut Pro to see that I was being a filthy heathen on the interwebs.
If you remember, it was Elisha who broke the ice with swearing because he said ass.
Oh, he did.
He was like, because we were all saying...
We were discussing the combination of words needed to make the word shart, but we weren't saying it.
We refused to
was
say the
pretty
first
funny.
one. And then the next time we hung out, we were just swearing. And then we brought it up. We were like, oh, wait, you swear? And you were like, oh my God, you do too?
It was pretty funny.
And then we just started swearing way too much because we were teenagers and we thought it was cool.
Dude, the F word was definitely a cult classic for sure among that group of friends. That was pretty funny. So moving right along into the later era, I suppose. Not necessarily later, just after that, I was like, all right, man, this dude's cool. I like his family. I like his brothers. And so I started pulling up, and I would sleep over like all the time. Because my
Yeah.
parents finally allowed me to have sleepovers, and I was like, dude, I'm sleeping over there like every weekend. And
Yeah,
so
it was very often. We had that like shitty twin blow up mattress every night. Just throw that out. You'd just sleep right next to my bed or in the living room.
I think there were nights or weekends where I would come over on a Friday night. Because at this point, I was in college with Fridays off. I was
Yeah,
doing
because you did running start. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was in early college with 3-day weekends every weekend, which was sick, by the way. But I would come over on Friday night, crash, and then more often than not, I seem to recall Saturday night, I would also just stay.
Yeah, it was so usually how it would happen is you would stay Friday night, we'd hang out all Saturday, and then you wouldn't go home until late Saturday night, or you would end up just staying so late that it was like, oh, I might as well stay again.
Right.
And then by then we were fucking dead tired because we stayed up super late 2 nights in a row, and you were like, Sunday morning, you were like, I'm gonna go home.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah.
Or
'Cause
sorry, Sunday morning.
Yeah, I would always regret it, even though I wouldn't really. I think I would just be like, man, I got the homework I probably should have done, or something like that. But also, I particularly remember all of that happening during the summer, especially.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
multiple nights happened a lot during the summer. It was mainly just the fact that we'd been hanging out so long, and whenever we'd hang out, we would like stay up super late, but also get up early to like maximize time.
We'd be like, all right, man, you want to get up at 7 tomorrow?
Yeah,
and we'd go to bed at like
1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, oh, dude, do you want to get up at like 6 or 7 so we can like make a bomb-ass breakfast? And then we'd get up and we'd just hate life.
Dude. And then we'd go get energy drinks, and somehow we were fine. If I did that now, I would be like really angry.
No, dude, I was just yesterday. I didn't even have to like get up early. I could go back to bed. All I had to do was get up in the middle of the night to take my roommate's
puppy
puppy out to go to the bathroom because he was working. Mm-hmm. And I was throwing a fucking fit, dude, before I had to go to bed. I was like, because it was like midnight.
Yeah.
And I asked my wife, I was like, hey, what time does the puppy need to go out? And she was like, 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. And I was like, it's midnight and I'm trying to go to bed now. I'm not going to go to bed for an hour.
Right.
So I complained just bitching for 30 minutes. And then I said, fuck it. I'm taking him out now. Uh-huh. He can go to the bathroom 30 minutes early. Went to bed. And then as I was getting in bed, I forgot that I had told my wife that I would take him out both times.
Oops.
So I get back in bed and Amanda says, hey, do you want me to set an alarm for 4 o'clock for you? And then I literally did like the 5-year-old fucking flailing in the bed. I fucking flailed around and I was just like, yes.
Dude, having a puppy is me and my wife got a puppy like 2 years ago. And I was like, it was during COVID too, which was super convenient to like, it's okay to get up because you can sleep in or whatever because we were working from home. And it was like, okay, check this out, bro. We're going to go, this will be good practice for when we have kids. No, it was not. We had a kid. She's 5 months roughly old now. And I love her with all my heart. But holy shit, dude. Nothing compares. Like, taking a dog out to shit and piss is fine. Waking up to a screaming child that needs to be fed, but you can't feed her cold food, so you have to wait 5 minutes for it to warm up in the bottle warmer while the kid screams, trying not to wake the other partner up and also dealing with being angry because you're awake. Puppies do not compare.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's like, bro.
Because luckily the house I live in, it's big enough to where when the puppy's name is Blue, when Blue is throwing a fit because he doesn't want to be in his crate, I can't hear it from my bedroom.
Right.
And because it's a puppy, I can just ignore it. It's you can wait till your scheduled bathroom time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with a child, it's like, you really can't.
You can't.
Bro.
No, you got to deal with that shit.
No. And so, I don't know. She's pretty spectacular.
But yeah, so as I was saying, so nowadays I could not do that. Because just having to get up in the middle of the night and then go back to bed, I was throwing a fucking fit.
So, we were hanging out like almost every weekend.
Yeah, you had your orange Eclipse with the spray painted doors.
I spray painted my internal trim, the
red.
vinyl trim red instead of the gray, and I didn't mask it well, and it was
for a first time though, it did look pretty good.
It was okay. However, it was kind of welcome to Grid Engine, bro. We basically just it was all right. It looked cool until you look closely and it's like...
And then you could see where this paint bled into the regular parts of the door or whatever.
It was rough.
Did you tape it or did you just...
I taped it.
Okay.
Barely. With the thinnest masking tape my parents had for some reason. It was dumb. But yeah, I had the Eclipse GT. That thing was sick. I think the second video on the Grid Engine channel has me doing a poll in it before we sold it with Colton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so, Jesus Christ, we're doing it, and it's just like, that's cool, man, damn. But moving on, I had the Eclipse, and I would come over all the time. At some point, we started sneaking out, because that was fun.
Yes.
But I didn't get the satisfaction you did, and I would like you to explain why.
Okay, so this was when I was 16, because I had a car at this point. Because I remember, part of the reason it was easy for me to sneak out is because I had a car, and when I'd sneak out, I wouldn't take it. So there would be that signifying factor. Oh, his car is here. He's home.
Right.
Because I wouldn't even fake pillows or anything like that. My parents were pretty respectful of my privacy when I was a teenager. They didn't like come bursting into my room or anything all the time to do checkups and stuff like that. Yeah, they were very that is one thing I greatly appreciate about them during my teenage years.
Right.
And so I would just basically sneak out my room, kind of sneak down, sneak back. Although the bottom of the stairs was right next to their bedroom door, and sometimes they would leave their bedroom door open when they would go to sleep. So I would have to be very quiet. And we had an automatic lock. So if you didn't lock it with a key fast enough, it would lock itself, and that thing was loud as fuck.
Yeah.
The gears would turn. It would make this like... And you would hear all the gears grinding and shit like that. And so I would always have to, what I would have to do, I'd have to unlock the bolt, open the door, lock the bolt, swing it wide enough for me to get out, step out, close the door almost all the way, then stick my key in, unlock it, close it, and lock it.
Oh, that's quite the procedure.
I would have to do that so I wouldn't so the thing wouldn't set off and lock automatically.
Right.
And then by then, either you or my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I would sneak out with her too, would be there, and I would walk down the street, get in your or her car, and drive off.
Right.
You didn't have the same satisfaction as me, though, because my parents gave a shit about me sneaking out and didn't want me going anywhere.
Right.
At this point, you were like 17, and your dad had already decided to check the fuck out.
Yeah.
And you just did not give a shit. He caught you walking out the door one time. I remember you telling me, you're like, yeah, dude, I got in your car and I was like, hey man, what's up? And I'm like, my heart's racing. I'm like, yeah, dude, what's up? Let's go. Oh my God. What happened? Or you like, what did your parents do? And you were just like, yeah, man. I was like walking out the door and like my dad was watching a movie. So I just like quickly ran down the stairs and swung around and went to the door. And then he heard the door open and he just said, what are you doing? And then I just said, no, bye. And just shut the door and left. And he just didn't care.
He cared. He really did. He just didn't care enough to be like, no. Because he understood that I probably would have done it anyways. And so he was just like, just don't do anything stupid. And I was like, fair enough. And then dipped and proceeded to probably do something stupid. I don't know. Of course. Not necessarily illegal, just stupid.
Yeah, because then also what would happen also, because I would sneak out with Amanda a lot, like a little bit after I started to sneak out, I had only snuck out like maybe 4 times in total. Pardon me. And then after that, my dad, the whole family was going to dinner, and they invited my wife to come with us, girlfriend at the time, obviously. And we're sitting down and we're all eating, and then out of nowhere, totally unprompted, we're not even like all the adults are having their own conversation, and we're just hanging out. Me, my younger brother, and Amanda are just vibing.
Yeah.
And then my dad just turns to me, totally unprompted, and says, "If I ever catch you sneaking out, I am taking your keys and driver's license, and you are never getting them back."
Right.
And Amanda and I just like lock eyes, and we're like, "Does he fucking know, dude?"
Right.
And but apparently he didn't, because then like years later, after I had moved out, I think I was 20 at the time.
Right.
I was just driving with my dad in the car, and it was just me and him, and he was talking about all the cameras he had set up and stuff like that. And,
right.
and then we talked about Elisha a little bit, and like him going out and stuff like that. And then I just straight up said, I said, "Man, I'm lucky you didn't set those cameras up when I was a teenager, because I snuck out all the time." And then he just went, "So what you're telling me is I should have had them earlier?" And I just went, "Yep."
Yeah. Seriously. I don't know. It lined up in a bit of an iconic way.
It really did. Well,
awesome.
Because like Elisha, my younger brother never had that desire to like sneak out and break the rules and stuff like that, because because he also wasn't like doing stupid shit that he wasn't really allowed to do. He was just hanging out with his friends.
Right.
So my parents were a lot more like, "Oh yeah, go have fun, blah, blah, blah," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also by then they had raised 2 other kids. So they were a lot more just like,
he was the third, and they were like, "Man, do whatever."
"Do whatever, man."
Yeah. No, that's kind of facts. But like, we were doing stupid shit, not illegal stupid or like gonna hurt ourselves stupid, just like inexperienced stupid. Because we were like, "Hey man, I found out that vanilla extract
Oh my God, this
has alcohol in it. Do you want to mix it with soda and see if we get drunk?"
So here's the thing.
It had like 3% alcohol.
For
and
your
it was
information.
It was in like this size bottle. like a one-shot bottle.
Yeah. Just for your information, if you're ever thinking you can get drunk off of vanilla extract because it says it has alcohol in the ingredients list, you can't.
No, because I even took, like, we put a quarter of the tiny, like, one-shot bottle into our Mountain Dew or whatever, and we were like, man, this just made it taste shitty. I don't want this. And then I was like, watch this, bro. And I downed the second half, which immediately gave me a stomach ache. It was horrible.
I remember because I had a lot in my soda bottle, and I started getting a stomach ache just from finishing my soda.
Right, so I did that, and I was like, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
This sucks. This is so stupid.
I had heard from a friend of mine that vanilla extract had alcohol in it, and I was like, you're kidding. And he's like, yeah, the only reason you can't like get drunk off of it is because they only put a little bit and then you bake it and it's like so you can't get drunk. And I was like, oh my God, really? And my dumbass thought that was real. So we went to Winco and we found the vanilla extract and we were reading through the ingredients and we found the alcohol and we were like, oh my God. And we bought it and we were like fucking
excited.
So excited.
Yeah.
We had Mountain Dew Voltage.
Blue raspberry
and
with
vanilla.
by the way. Yeah.
Dude, that was so... Because I remember both of us were like... Because we wanted to hang out longer. Because it wasn't that late in the evening.
Right.
But after we had finished it, we just both felt like shit. And we were like, dude, I'm going home. And I was like, yeah, me too, dude. Fuck this.
No, it was... it was so dumb, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I don't even know why on earth I believed that when I heard that. I was just like... Oh my God, I can get drunk off of vanilla.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty entertaining. And then eventually, skipping ahead again, when we did turn 21 and found out, like, actually started exploring what alcohol we enjoyed and stuff, it was pretty funny to be, like, so immature about it. Like, we were 16 again. Because we were like, well, now we can buy this stuff.
Well, now we can buy the stuff.
And so I think... it was almost every weekend, if not twice a weekend, we would get absolutely cranked.
Yeah, we would just absolutely get destroyed. And what it was is because at that time we were obsessed with taking shots.
Oh yeah, we would count our shots, right?
And we would try to every time we got together, we'd try to increase the number by at least 2.
Which is, and we didn't compare what we were drinking. We didn't compare the alcohol percentage. We didn't compare the quality.
Nope.
And so it was just like whatever we have, we will
gotta
combine.
Beat the shot number.
We will beat the shot number. And what did we end on?
I'm pretty sure the last we ever hit was like around 15 to 16.
Right. As like fresh 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it was like...
it was bad.
Dude, 20... yeah.
Because you were straight up telling me that you couldn't see.
I couldn't
I
was having trouble seeing
because I've gotten tunnel vision while drunk before to where I can only really see what I'm focusing on and then everything else is blurry.
Right.
But you were telling me that you just couldn't see because you were like, we were watching YouTube videos. We were watching like beatboxing videos or something.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, I can't see the fucking TV, dude. And I was like, what do you mean? It's right fucking there. And you're like, it's all blurry, man. I can't see shit. And I was like, how the fuck, dude? How drunk are you?
That was so funny, man. It was just... those days are fun to look back on now. At the time, it was also fun, except for the next... actually, to be fair, like, fresh 21-year-olds doing that, I really don't remember having a horrible hangover other than the night that we hit our max shot count. Because that one was rough. Because we mixed Crown Royale... and like Skull vodka.
No, it was Smirnoff.
Oh yeah, Smirnoff
vodka. And because we had the Crown, but we didn't have that much of it, so we needed something else, and the Smirnoff was really cheap. So we were just like, oh yeah, we don't want to spend a lot of money.
Mixing whiskey and vodka and a really nice whiskey and a really shitty vodka was just like,
yeah, no, because I remember we both passed out drunk because like. We were fucking around and then we went to your room and we both literally just collapsed on your bed. Didn't get in the covers, didn't like anything. We both just collapsed on your bed, passed the fuck out, we're done.
Yeah.
I wake up to you barfing
in
the bathroom. I just hear And then I'm like, huh? What the fuck? And then I wake up and I hear that and I'm like, oh, okay, he's barfing. And then I lay back down and I'm like, oh God, I need to barf. So then I run into the bathroom. And because you only had one bathroom in that apartment,
Right.
so I'm just like, move, and you're like, so then you like hover over the tub while I barf, and then I move to the side, and then you barf, and then it was
That was rough, man. And we ran out of barf to barf very quickly.
so we just started like fucking heaving
but
and
we
shit.
kept barfing, and then we both took like a 1 hour shower.
Yeah.
I took an hour shower, and then you kicked
While
me
I was
out.
barfing,
And then you were
I
like,
finally
man,
finished.
let me in that bitch. And I was like, fine. And I get out and start barfing while you, because I was in the tub taking my shower barfing. And then we just kind of traded spots. And it was like,
no, dude. Okay, here's the thing though. About that shower, I lost, even though I was drunk, I still managed to find and laugh and appreciate the fact that you had that 5-in-1 fucking bottle of whatever the fuck it was like some off-brand shit because the logo,
it was dollar store.
it was like
soap.
it was like neon green,
Yeah.
borderline glowing goo, and like it said 5-in-1, and
it had a
like,
car on it.
and it had a car and a speedometer on it, and I'm like, is this body wash or engine fucking or something for an engine, dude? Because it was like, because I saw it and it had like the logo had like a gear on it. There was like a car driving by, and then there was a speedometer, and I'm just like, and they said 5-in-1, and I'm just like,
That, like, the memes
about
about
to-
men will have one soap for everything.
shampoo, conditioner, body wash, face wash, and then
Car wash.
something
Probably.
else. Probably car
Yeah,
wash.
with all the cars on it.
And that's what kills me is the fact that it had face wash in there, because it's like,
What?
how do you because like usually face wash stuff is like specific chemicals for acne, and if you don't have bad acne, you can just use regular soap or body wash. So it's
Right.
like, I don't know, that just confused the fuck out of me. But anyways,
Right. No, I believe it. So, and then that brings us that brings us to here, essentially. You know, a very
with a lot of space skipped in the middle.
yeah, a
Goddamn.
lot of space skipped just because of time and because I don't want to spend multiple episodes on how we met or whatever and what we've done. But there's been a lot of dumb things that have happened, but we've been very good friends for a very long time, and so that's why our chemistry in the videos is so good, because it's like there's no small talk. Whenever you show up, it's just like straight to the business. And
It's just like, all right, man, we got the car part. Let's go. And I'm
Right.
like, all right, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's along those lines. So that's pretty sweet. For anyone who wanted to know, that's kind of our backstory. And basically just thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. This was really fun. We just kind of came up with this randomly. We were just like, hey, let's do a podcast. All right, fuck it. And it's been really fun and really exciting. And whether or not people watch it, we're going to continue doing it. So fuck you.
Yeah, it's fun. If you came here from the channel, thank you. If you're a family member or friend, thank you. I hope we didn't offend you. And yeah, just thank you guys for vibing. And we will see you in the next one, I guess, right?
Yeah, see you next time.
All right. Yeah. Bye.